What's up, guys? John from Heavyset Knife Company. This is going to be kind of a short, just behind the barn video series that I'm starting today. I had a great conversation with Alan from Primitive Bear Knives this morning, and guys, he really showed me just the importance of kind of, I really, I wanted to show my own work to an extent on my platform, my channel that I started, while still showing other people's stuff, Spyderco, TRC, all the other knives I use during my day of making knives. But Alan gave me a great drive this morning to start doing some more content on my knives. I wanted to center around third-party testing that was absolutely neutral. They're gonna tell you if it doesn't work. Peterbilt Knife Guy, I don't know if any of you guys know him personally, but if I would have sent him that knife and he didn't like it enough to actually carry it, he would have sent it back. Like, he's not a dick, but he does not do knives that he doesn't like. And he's very, very honest about his findings. So, make a long story short, I'm going to do a new series of video with my base model in its basest steel. And guys, my Hunter, I just call it the Hunter because I'm not one of those guys that's really good with the names and stuff, and that's just me. So I'm gonna call it the Hunter. That's my base model. It is a 4-inch belt knife, and it comes in a badger claw leather sheath. It's a great little everyday carry size to like camp knife size fixed blade. It's really just a great handful. Even guys with big old mitts are gonna fit really nicely on this. It has a really nice pinch point, and it's a mid to high saber. This is one that I screwed the plunge up on because I'm a new maker. Some of the knives I go to grind don't turn out as nice as I'd like, but I finished it the whole way through, and I threw the same degree edge on it that I do all the other ones. And this is my base model in OD green micarta and orange G10 liners with my blast and tumble finish on the knife. So this one, when I go inside tonight, I'm actually gonna engrave on it, just so I can, so you guys can see that it's the engraved one that I'm using for each video. But we're gonna do a series of videos, and I have come to appreciate Nitro V so much as a basic stainless steel, and I want to show you guys why. And I know that there's a lot of makers, from like Knives by Nuge to Alan at Primitive has used it, and really the main guy that was a solidifying factor for me wanting to dive into Nitro V and explore Nitro V as one of my main stainless options is Very Good Knife Company as well. He gets great results. So enough talking. I'm gonna just beat on this today a little bit. And guys, this one I'm going to engrave like, HKC tester on it or something. This is my base model. It's a 4-inch blade. It's in Nitro V, and it's 150 thou thick. Just a great camp knife. I wanted to make a knife, and I'm gonna just do this as a continual, very unprofessional video, unedited kind of video. So make a long story short, guys, it's real nasty and wet out, so I don't want the wood I'm hitting to sink down in. So let's get started. So guys, like I said, I'm one of those guys, I firmly believe that basic is always better when it comes to fixed blades, and my content. I don't have very dressy content, but as you can see, it is a leather sheath. It's on my belt, and it really does get out of the way if I'm in here down moving around, or I'm crawling, or I'm up and down. It stays really nice and out of the way of my love handle and my shirt. So it's one of those knives where I wanted to have it be just a very, very, very basic. I would consider it a larger side everyday carry fixed blade because it has a 4-inch blade, but it's got a nice thick tip. The saber grind is high enough for me to give you a slicey knife that you can use for actually skinning something out and hunting. Now, I do have to say that the premium steel versions I do go a little thinner behind the edge. There's a lot of guys that I follow that are starting to more and more these days prove just how, just how strong some of these steels are and how much thinner behind the edge you can go, which is ultimately going to give you a longer working edge, a better slicer. So I have the nastiest piece of old 4x4 here, and my billy club, if you will, my my 2x4 here. And I just want to show you, it does bite in really nicely. This is how all of the base model hunters in Nitro V are going to be as far as edge geometry. Now guys, I am a newer maker, yes. I've been in the knife world for quite some time. I am a newer maker, but I've been getting really good with this model. This was the first model I started prototyping and focusing on, and I got really good at making the overall geometry between each one come out very, 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 very similar. So, it's not like one guy's gonna get one at 25 thou, one guy's gonna get one at 40 thou BTE or anything like that behind the edge. So yeah, this is going to be the knife where every day I show you why Nitro V I think kicks ass. It just does. It's a very well-rounded knife steel that's going to give you edge retention. It's not going to rust on you, and it's going to be strong enough where, you're going to have the longevity of your tip. You're going to have a knife that's going to stick around for a long time, and it's just going to be an enjoyable knife for the price point. Because these are handmade in my barn, 20 feet from where I'm shooting this video. It's made by hand by me. I'm starting to teach my dad the finer points of cutting my blanks and helping me, showing him how to help me do the hardware hole punching, stuff like that. Because as you guys know, this was originally something that I wanted to do with my father, this project, this business. So he's excited about it, I'm excited about it, and he retires in officially 27 work days from now. So it's a pretty big deal. Pretty awesome father-son project here. So I'm just gonna take this super disgustingly hard piece of pressure-treated 4x4. We're just gonna start kind of going and taking pieces off of it. This is gonna be considered video 1, and every day I'm gonna try to put out content on this knife. Man, that went right down in there. I'm gonna try to put content out every day on this specific blade, just to show you the longevity and the strength of this hunter. Even though it's in Nitro V, it's not in Magna Cut. Guys, I did not make this knife to technically be a crazy survival knife and beat on like this, but I'm just trying to show you its capability and strength through a little bit of abuse test. So now I'm going to twist it as hard as I can. Not ready to crack yet. And that edge is laid back. I mean, guys, a knife you're going to use really hard in the woods, you do not want at like a 17 or 17.5 degree edge. So far no stoppage. Just completely fine. And that's, to be expected. I haven't done a lot of abuse with this, but with this specific blade so far. This steel, absolutely. But like I said, I'm going to just use this one model, and over the next 30 days show you guys the longevity of when I start to really abuse this knife, this Nitro V. There will probably be times when I go and have to resharpen it from chipping the edge a little bit. We're probably going to do some dumb stuff with it. But I'm just trying to get through to you guys that very good knife company, Knives by Nuge. Everybody else that's using Nitro V as a staple stainless steel, honestly, New Jersey Steel Baron is kind of the best. You can just go online, and instead of having to look out and keep looking for other sites that have the type of steel, like S45, S35, things like that. You just can't find them, and I know what's going on with Crucible's a little crazy too, but Nitro V is always right there, ready to order. Any thickness you want, any length you want. I don't know why I got the sensation to just hammer that right through that knot. So, I really am liking Nitro V. It's nice and it's not particularly any crazy easier to work with, but it's a very nice steel to work with. No qualms about it. No annoyances in sharpening it or, surface grinding it or grinding my bevels. Technically sanding my bevels. I know we always talk about grinding bevels, but it's really actually a sanding belt on the Ameriblade. So I just wanted to give some impact. You're not gonna find out how good your edge retention is by batoning, because as soon as it gets to that rear thickness of that high spot, your flats on there, it's kind of spreading as you're going, so you're not really cutting down through that piece of wood, but still just terrifyingly sharp. No stops, no issues. Guys, I always use TRC knives as an example because a lot of people just know who they are, and I like their stuff. This knife is my version of like almost a Primitive Bear Hunter's EDC is kind of Alan's flagship model. The Adventure and Adventure Junior by Very Good Knife Company, that's kind of his flagship model. The TRC M1SL, that's kind of their mid-range, like almost, it's a very tactical looking camp knife, but I think that blade profile and size is great for camp knife. The Reef F4, or the Reef Circadian, and the White River Ursus 45 or Ursus Cub. This is essentially my flagship model. So it's my first one. I formulated enough and liked enough to make more of them. The first ones I sent out to people, other than Erica's EDC. She got an EDC 3, which I have since changed the design up a little bit. So that's another one that's going to be available on the site pretty soon. I'm excited to see, for you guys to see the work that Spencer has put in on my site. He is a hell of a guy and just so accommodating, patient, very helpful. Has been in the trade for a long time, doing what he's doing with the computer stuff, and that's stuff that I just am not good at as much as I am the handwork. So guys, you can see I'm not, what I like about my behind the edge thickness and my blade geometry on this is you don't have to really come in to grab. You can, just let it find its edge and then start doing its thing. I haven't feather stick for a while, guys. We haven't done an outdoor video for a while, so, and feather sticking on pressure treated is really annoying. I'm just showing you guys some of this knife's capability. So we'll do a little bit of impact, a little bit of chopping here, because I do put a spot for a lanyard on these, just in case, because I know a lot of guys like lanyards. I actually found out about a couple of my buddies actually really like coming in the door and they hang their knife in its sheath by the lanyard right on their coat hook. So that's another reason I put it on there, because some people like to be able to hang their knives. Now guys, this is not a chopper and it doesn't have a very pronounced bird's beak of any kind, so, but for little wrist flicks, it'll absolutely do the job. So let's bring that camera closer. Guys, I really did keep this tip nice and thick. just nice and thick, so you really don't have to worry as much about. I'm gonna bring that camera closer for you in a minute, just so I can show you some other stuff. But you do not have to worry as much about the tip breaking with this model. For how thin and slicey it is. Now here I'm gonna twist it a little bit. And honestly, guys, this is a new experiment for me, because I have given a lot of edge retention testing on the 60 to 62 HRC, the 59 to 60, the 62 to 63. Now I'm running them kind of right in the middle. So I have done a fair amount of testing that I should have put on video more, but this is a new experience as far as the tip stuff, because I don't have a lot of experience really putting Nitro V's tips to the test. And again, this knife is not made to be a quote-unquote, you know, hard use survival knife. Obviously it doesn't have the size, but well, that was weird. There we go. Let's get you guys. So guys, again, this is me really showing you just bare bones what this knife can and can't handle. Tip might break off doing what I'm doing right now. Again, this is not a carbon, it's a stainless. So I am a little more worried about breaking the tip off from there up. Other than that, you can see how much I run this thick out to the tip. The saber grind, I kind of don't take it back far so I can keep that tip really thick, because I don't want you guys to buy this knife and enjoy it for a year or 2 or 3 or 5 or 10 and then break that tip off one day and be like, well, damn, I like that knife. Look at that. Guys, people think Nitro V is not as serious as Magna Cut or 3V or... I mean, this thing can take some abuse. This is hard pressure treated 4x4 pieces that I cut. Look at that. Just right down through. It's even at an angle too. Now let's come down this way, make the rest of that cut. So this kid the other day said, man, you don't show a lot of your hunter in action like Scab does. Guys, Scab from Choir Boys Cutlery, Peterbilt Knife Guy, my buddy Gabe from Last Huntsman. Jacob Peterson's got one of these on the way as well. There's a couple other guys I'd really like to get him out to, because I'm going to be honest with you, this knife has, this knife making journey for me is important, and I want to be able to give away as much as I can to people that want to test them, that want to take the time out of their life to test them. You know, people that can't afford them, I want to be able to reach out to me and say, listen, you know, can I have you make me one over the next month that's a little cheaper in some way, or without the leather sheath perhaps, so I can afford one and have one. Guys, cases like that on my site and in my world are always going to be figured out and accepted. You can ask anyone in the gosh darn knife community, other than some of the new age drama that I did get my name involved in, which I'm not going to talk about, so if you want to hear about it, that's just not happening. Guys, I have always been an ethical seller and trader and buyer. I do buy and test a lot of knives and collect a lot of knives. Holy crap, that thing is wedged in there. The only time I had a situation was with one of my new acquaintances who has an Instagram channel. I didn't ask him if I could use his name, so I won't. but a lot of people don't know who I'm talking about. I sold him a slip joint that had a pin missing out of it from ABW, and I had no idea. So that's about the most unethical sale I ever did. And I immediately sent him, I think, $50 to take care of him sending it to and from them to get it fixed. And I told him if it came back and it had any issues whatsoever or wasn't his perfect standard of what he wanted out of that knife, I would buy it back in its entirety also beside that 50. So guys, I try to be as ethical as I can. I am not a perfect person whatsoever, but I will be damned if people that want one of my knives don't get one. That will never occur. So if you're worried about the price, talk to me. If you're worried about where you live and getting it shipped to you somehow and it has to be some kind of crazy shipping, talk to me. You know, every time I do a knife sale, you go and ask any freaking person that has purchased a knife in my knife sale, every one of them will say, I don't know how this guy isn't retarded or broke, because I'll buy an $800 rare custom and I'll sell it for $450. I'll buy a reef for $350 and I'll sell it for $210. Or I'll, you know, most of my high-end folders, I post them, they don't sell. So I'll put them in a knife video. Somebody will hit me up and say, oh man, I wish I had money for that. And I'll say, well man, what do you got right now? So I am not one of these people that's out here to get rich doing this, or else I'd have picked another profession. Knives are what I love, guys, and I didn't mean to get negative or aggressive or anything. Knives are what I love, man, and this is what I've always wanted to do. Oh, just passed a little gas. Just kidding. It was my shoe in the wet grass. But yeah, let's do stupid stuff with this now for a minute. Give it a twist. So it's kind of awkward. I got roots under where I'm kneeling, so they're kind of hurting my knees, so I have to keep switching back and forth and getting dirty. But guys, this is just a camp knife that can handle some pretty hard use stuff. If you're buying it just as a hunting knife or skinner, get the Magna Cut or 20 CV version. It'll have a more thin behind the edge. But this Nitro V version, that's nice and thick at 150, 155 thou, depending on the times I ordered the steel, they were a little different with finishing thickness. My surface grinder is very accurate, so it's not that. It's just, sometimes I like leaving it a little thick. And if there's no reason to take the meat off just for the sake of all batches being the same, why do it? So my, one of my last comments is, to make a long story short, you know, I wanted this to be just a general use, everyday carry kind of camp knife slash everyday carry knife slash just general belt knife that was comfortable in hand, very basic in design, and just cut well. And that's all, you know, I wanted it to be. So the other thing that I really like about Primitive Bear Knives, and the other piece of his business that I am copying, is one thing I love about Alan's website is, and the way he does his sales on his site, is the knife that you see in the photograph that you purchase is the exact knife you're buying. So guys, I am a hand maker. Some of them might look a very, very minute bit different from each other, or be a little bit different in total thickness. So make sure you pay attention to my specifications listed on each one. Each one of these is going to be posted differently. It's not just going to be like one general photo and then you click which handle material you want. It's going to be, each picture is of each handmade custom knife. So what you see in the photo is what you get. Make sure you pay attention to the specifications and thicknesses that I list and stuff like that. You know, just make sure that you're understanding of that. Because if I get an email that says, hey, I saw a guy that tested your hunter and it was a little bit thinner in the overall thickness than the one that I bought, I'm gonna say, well, Each one has its specifications listed, and the one in the exact photo is the one that you're going to receive. So I like that. It makes it a lot more cut and dry. I've ordered knives from people that were they showed a general photo of the design, and then you pick the color and you get it, and it looks a little different. So I've had that occur before. So I'm gonna keep it, what you see is what you're purchasing in the photos. So I wanted to clear that up as well. This coming week's gonna be cool. It's gonna be my first 10 hunters when I drop that website. Then I'm gonna do a big drop with, I think, the rest of the EDC 3s, a couple of the big Hunter XXLs and Magna Cut, and I got a big piece of LMAX I'm gonna make a couple big old slammers out of. I got some custom large stuff I cut up and shaped up and is going into heat treating. Just a lot of fun stuff, guys. Again, I'm doing this because I love knives, not because I want to be rich or go to Blade Show and, have any clout in the world or get girls, or trust me, if those were my goals, money and women, I'd be in the wrong field. And I'm just a knife nerd. I'm just a pudgy Italian dude in the middle of nowhere, making my knives in my barn, just wanting to share my work with the rest of the world. And it's that simple. So that's how I'm going to treat it. And if you guys aren't able to afford it or really want something from me, like I said, all you got to do is frickin' talk to me and we'll make something work. Because the sheaths I use are expensive. The Badger Claw leather sheaths, they are amazing, but they are expensive sheaths. So, that does add a little bit of cost. Kydex would be cheaper, but in the future, I'll be doing some Kydex stuff too. So guys, I just wanted to harp on this today. Let you guys know a little bit verbally about what's going on with the site and the knives. Show you that this Nitro V is no freaking joke. Yeah. That might have just burst the tip off. I don't know. Nope. No tip going. I'm twisting as hard as I can. Jesus Lord. And look at that. Dead straight. No tip issue. No scale issue. And weirdly, that edge looks pretty damn good. Look at that. Guys, Nitro V is awesome. So let me back up. Like I said, this is just one video I'm doing this month on this same knife. Look at that. This thing is a really comfy knife. I'm not getting any hot spots. You can really bear down on it. It's a fun one, guys. So yeah, I like it. So guys, again, the sheath is really an enjoyable leather sheath. For me anyway. It stays out of the way. It doesn't have a lot of swing or, movement on it. Not too bad anyway. It's just gonna move with you. Looks like I'm doing the truffle shuffle over here. Jesus. But yeah. Guys, I like third-party testing very much so. It takes it out of my hand and shows you other people's. It's not like I'm sharpening this between each time I use it. And that's going to get very apparent as we go, because I'm telling you right now, I spent a lot of time and a pretty good amount of money on this knife, and it's wet. That's why the finish looks so rough. But I'm going to go in and show you how it cleans up and how it cuts paper, because I had it really nice and sharp when we started. Now, that's the thing. Nitro V is not going to be amazing at edge retention, but it's not as bad as you think. Wait till you see how sharp this darn knife still is. And for some of you bushcraft guys, with a little lanyard on there on your right around the wrist, just to get some extra extra oomph on there, extra safety measure on there. It's going to do well with a lanyard. But yeah, I just wanted to show you very, very goofily. You know, it has a really nice belly up front for your traps and trigger stuff, your carving stuff. Oh, that was a little deep. So let me I'm trying to keep my chest in front of it so there we go. Let me go down a little more. So as you can see, guys, this is a really, really nice camp knife. It's probably one of my favorite kind of general use knives. I have one in 3V that was really my beater, but I wanted to restart with Nitro V because this is a blade steel I'm going to be using quite a bit more than the 3V. And I love to know that if you guys use this knife and then throw it in a backpack for 2 months between trips or hikes, or you're not going to pull it out and have it rusted. So it has a really nice flat tip or flat top up here that is ferro rod sharp. Trust me, you can see that very, very apparently. Very nice and sharp spine. Gabe from the Last Huntsman channel, you can go watch his review of mine. It strikes a ferro rod very well. Now Gabe's was in was Gabe's in S45? Was Gabe's? Yeah, Gabe's was in S45, I believe. That was like the first couple batches. Then I went to the Nitro V, the Magna Cut, and the 3V, and a couple just kind of bounced around. I wanted to find the right steel for this model. And my buddy John Roll, my buddy, I actually sent him a 3V knife that had what him and I thought was a little funny heat treat thing going on with it, but I got to see where he's at with that. Told him to give it a good hard sharpen. I'm prototyping a really nice 4-incher for him, but I made him a couple knives right up front, and he seems to be enjoying them for carving. He's the only person I ever made a Scandi for, that burlap Scandi. I think I showed you guys on Instagram. But as you can see, you know, that tip's very precise for using up front. The belly is really nice if you need to get, you know, a little deeper of those thumb press cuts in there, push cuts in there. And then you have just enough flat to do your feather sticking and stuff. Let me see. Just enough flat to do your real deep push cuts and your feather sticks with, you know. All right, this is the worst piece I could ever probably choose to do a feather stick with, but you catch my drift. I wanted to have enough belly where you could, you know, get up here and use it as a caping knife if you're actually gutting something and you break that chest, and then break that rib cage, and then you can get in there like this, use it for skinning out a deer or an elk. Guys, especially the 20 CV ones that I got in this drop, those I went extra thin behind the edge with for those hunters out there that need something that you could frickin' probably chop a whole frickin' moose up and not even have to think about stropping it. I use the same exact even heat treat oven that Laren Thomas has at his house. I follow the protocols in his book against some of his newer commentation. So his book is actually old enough that it doesn't have Magna Cut in it, in the heat treat recipe section of the book. So, you know, it is an older book, slightly older book. So I do make sure that I watch all of the Knife Steel Nerds newer content to keep getting tips and tricks with heat treating. I talk to, you know, all my buds from from Gary Creeley to Very Good Knife Company to, I mean, all Alan at Primitive to, you know, all these guys that have been doing this longer than I have that have had good and bad results with certain things. Sometimes I'll cross-reference recipes for heat treating, ideas I have for new grinding jig, you know, types of things I want to do, whatever. Guys, it's a great little knife. I think I already showed that in this video. I mean, it's just very comfortable. Yours, don't worry, yours is going to look a lot more polished than this. But it's just a fun, very general camp knife that is, in my opinion, small enough to EDC. I will have some smaller EDC size stuff, but it's just really comfortable. And what I like most about the knife brands that I really enjoy that aren't mine, I really like that deep guard. I like to know that my frickin' finger isn't going to slide up on there. And I like to have a really, really nice purchase, nice pinch point, so I can keep that control. So it's a very comfortable knife. I think you guys are going to enjoy it. I just wanted to show you a little bashing today. This knife I'm going to be carrying every single freaking day for the next 30 days straight. And we are going to just keep beating on it and beating on it and beating on it. And there is not even close. You can see how laid back that edge is. I mean, and there is not even close to being a stop on there. Nitro V is legit, guys, I'm telling you. Nitro V is awesome. Looks like right in the center, there's some gunk on there. I think it's just gunk. I don't even think it's technically a quote-unquote problem. Oh, man. I felt it go through, and I was like, oh, shit, I gotta watch I don't rub my finger right through there. So, yeah. Guys, this is me. And it's that simple. I'm a guy in my barn that makes knives, and I'm going to offer them for the cheapest price I can. But I want you, because I am a newer maker as well, but I want you to think about things like 1/3 of every dollar that comes in the door, 1/3 of it's going to taxes. I got to pay my own taxes. It costs me a tiny percentage to have people pay with credit cards. I have to pay my guy to manage the website, pay for shipping materials to me, pay extremely inflated steel costs, handle materials. Guys, in the time I started making my first shitty prototypes till now, I mean, in 1 year, the amount of 12 by 12 inch handle material brick I buy, or 5 inch by 12 inch orange 40 thou thick liner pieces of G10 to the bars of steel, everything has gone up, even just in that amount of time. But I'm telling you, don't balk at Nitro V, because my Nitro V, very good knife companies, Allen's, Knives by Nuge uses it, and he, I think Pete's Heat Treat does Knives by Nuge's heat treating. And I'm telling you, man, I had a, what did I have in Nitro V by him? Nah, the Bruin was in 3V, but from Knives by Nuge. But I've had something from him. Maybe it was the Wicket XL in Nitro V, and it was good, very good. Guys, I'm telling you, this Nitro V, I got a 17 to 17.5 degree laid back, goofy, wavy edge on this one, because this was just a factory second. I messed up the grind, because I grind all my things right on that jig in there. No CNC stuff. So I had to lay the edge back a little bit just to kind of play with it. And I'm telling you, we started here, and I'm just rolling in circles. I'll let you get a closer look. We'll go the whole way down to my damn hand. Just cutting straight into pressure treated wood, taking as big and deep of gouges out as I can. And guys, I've been pool cutting with this knife this whole time. Not one annoyance in my hand. I eliminated the hotspot area in here that was a potential hotspot area, and started rounding things out. And that's what prototyping's about, is just getting better and better and more refined as you go, and trying to not for 1 second think that I know anything about anything. Every day, if someone that I think, guys, even guys that I don't necessarily think I want to take their advice for, I still listen to. I mean, I think it's important to always be learning, always be optimizing, and always be improving as much as I can. And that's just how I'm gonna do things here at Heavyset Knife Company. And that's how my dad and I are gonna be doing things here together. And guys, it is still devilishly sharp. So let's run in the shop and let's see how it cuts piece of paper. Might not. So guys, I just got a new rolly table from my buddy Jack. And one day I will explain the irony of it, but it's a really expensive rubber topped U-line table that I wanted forever, that's just nice and rolly. And I had a crappy stainless steel, kind of like restaurant one with a stainless steel top. Wanted the rubber top. Finally was able to get one from him. So he's a hell of a guy. And I'm sure I'll talk more about him. But to end this video, we got this exact hunter. And I just want you guys to see. I do have a strap. I'm literally even going to show you this. I have a strap in the building. And obviously it's a knife shop, and my Tormek T8 sharpening apparatus is right there. You can see it's dry, which some of you might think I strapped it anyway. But what do I have to prove? I don't really care. This is just for me to show you guys that I really like Nitro V, and this is why I use it. So I'm going to go like this on this rubber surface and just get off the gunk. That's one little pass. Any gunk off of there? Wow, that's better than I thought. Okay, so you see there's a little stop here, little stop here, little stop there, two little ones there. So if we come in at the start is where I must have nicked something, then it grabs really nicely. Then there's the first stop. First stop there. So you'll see it again. Come in real nice. Hit that first stop. Go again. Oh, that time in. Oh, yeah, there it is. Right in the center. Right in the center somewhere, there's a little bit of a dingster. But guys, you guys saw, I didn't go nuclear, but you know, that was very abusive, hammering it straight down through the pieces of wood laterally. That was abusive to the edge. The twisting was abusive to the edge, and this is a very laid back edge. Now, the edges that you guys are going to get, in my opinion, are probably going to be a little nicer quite a bit nicer looking and acting on these, but this was a factory second that I chose to put a pretty laid back edge on, and decided to beat it up. So we're just going to keep going all week this week, all month this month. We're going to keep going. I'll laser engrave tonight something on this one to make it a flagship. You know, this is my tester, my carry it everyday fixed blade, just to show you guys that it is a really nice fixed blade, very basic design to carry every day. You know, if you're using it to make draw cuts, you don't have to come too far up to get to that tip. So there's belly there, and right there is the tip. So not, you know, some knives you really honestly have to go like that to get to the tip for a nice draw cut, right? Okay, so let's see. Right there's the tip. So I really did hammer that tip in crazy. Dang, there's definitely still quite a bit of hair shaving to do on this knife. Not even a stubble. And yeah, we're just gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep showing you guys about my model called the Hunter. And honestly, as I go, maybe I'll learn some more about some things that I want to change. But I just wanted to bring you guys in the shop today, or out back of the shop today, and show you where my thought process is right now as far as what I want to do with the Nitro V as my flagship, what I want to show you guys its capabilities are, and holds up pretty darn good. So I'm going to take some WD, and I'm going to show you guys just how nicely, this is why I do my finishes this way. There's a lot of abrasive quote-unquote damage to this blade. Next time I will incorporate a ferro rod as well so you can see. But as you can see, obviously any knife hitting it laterally through wood and etc. is going to put gunk into it. And there's a couple of brown spots there. But and this was one of my models where also I like to have from the top of my plunge, I was grinding them there where there was just a natural curvature in here. But on the ones that are going to be on the drop, it's much more straight out to about here before it starts to curve up. So this was one of the ones that I ground out that I just wasn't in love with. So I was going to make it a factory second and just take like 30% off the top. And guys, you'll see a bunch of stuff like that. You know, maybe the plunge isn't right. Maybe I have grind imperfections in my plunge. I'm not going to waste it. I'll make it a factory second, and one of you guys will get a hunter for 20 or 30% less. Why not? But as you can see, held up super good. There's just a couple, and that's right where that stop was. Yep. Yeah, that's right where that little stoppage was. But the funniest part about that is, if I took a strop like this, now guys, I'm going to keep running this edge raw, but if I took a strop and stropped it maybe 10, 15 times per side, it would probably take that out. It's very minuscule, and it was probably from me twisting, which, you know, happens with a thin edge like that, but it's still sharp. And I'll tell you what, I'm not kidding. You go watch Peterbilt Knife Guy's review of the Magna Cut hunter that I sent him, and guys, that same batch of Magna Cut is the hunters that's in this drop. The Magna Cut ones, there's 5, 6, 7 of them in this drop. The Magna Cut one he's had for 2.5 months now. He has used every single day and taken it with him every single day to work, and just told me that he's really, really enjoying using my knife. And he's used it just about every day since I sent it to him like 2 freaking months ago or more. And he said he's just dropped it a few times. Other than that, it's still razor sharp. So the Magna Cut is definitely a hat nod to the Magna Cut. I know it's quite a fad these days to make knives out of Magna Cut, and we'll see what happens with Crucible. But guys, thank you for watching. I'm going to take my sheath off the belt just to show you. I might actually also find a dangler attachment for my I just got my a string from my shirt stuck on there. So I'm probably going to find a dangler attachment so I could add a dangler attachment to the hunter, like make it a potential upgrade to the sheath. But just Badger Claw leather is awesome. They double stitch everything. It's super solid. The rivets are super solid that are the 2 rivets that are punched in there for the belt loop. It's just not going anywhere. And when you get it, it won't be too tight, because sometimes that drives me crazy too. But it's going to be tight enough where you're not worried about it coming out. This one I've ran in and out several times already. So, yeah. Thank you guys for watching. I'm just going to keep you in the loop on everything. You guys, if you know, and guys, this is the kind of operation where if you have questions or you get something and have an issue with it or this or that, just message me on Instagram. Sometimes the new requests, I don't get a notification that I have a message request. I don't know why. But so I check them like every other day, sometimes every day. So I will get your message. You can email me and just reach right out, and we'll get to the bottom of it. Any questions you have about my heat treating protocols, my HRC testing, you know, anything like that, all you got to do is ask. So thank you guys so much for the support. I am going to just stay in my lane and in my barn, in my shop, and just enjoy making some knives for you guys. And that's all that I want to do. So thank you guys so much for watching. God bless you guys. Pretty soon, man, it's gonna be me and my dad in here on the videos. So yeah, it's gonna be a blast. Couldn't be any more appreciative from some of the hardships and where I came in my life to where I am now. So thank you guys very much, and I hope you have a great day.